mise en place is important. Mise en place is a technique, is a technical term. It's French, mise en place, for making sure that all your pieces are in place, that you have what you need. So let's review. And if you have a pen and a piece of paper, you want to write this down. Otherwise, I promise you that at some point tonight, I will put the recipe in the show notes. Right now, the show notes have nothing, but I will put stuff in there. Okay. So it's really very simple. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. And this is for a wrap, a green wrap. Oh, the greens are in the basement, aren't they, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay. I got to go down to the basement. So just talk amongst yourselves. Oh, you know what I'll do? I have an idea. Hold on. I'm going to use some collards instead. That's what I'll do. Okay. Okay. So see, this is why it's important to be flexible, because sometimes you never know what's going to happen. I don't want to go downstairs to get the greens that I was going to use. So instead, I'm going to use these collards. Okay. And that will be my greens. All right. So the ingredients are, and would somebody list this, please, in the chat so others can see it? It's a cup of chickpea flour, which is also called garbanzo flour. Now, I have some here. I almost always make my own. And the way I do that is I take chickpeas, hard, dried chickpeas, and I put them in my Vitamix. And this is the Vitamix I use, and I grind them. And they grind beautifully into this flour. This is what it looks like. But sometimes, like today, I knew I wasn't going to have time to do that. So I happened to stop at Whole Foods and I got this chickpea flour. So we have that. That's number one. Now, if I didn't have enough chickpea flour, I would probably substitute. So for example, I'm not going to do it today, but this is organic quinoa flour. You know, you can buy it like this, or you can take quinoa and you can put it in a Vitamix or a high-powered blender and you can grind it. And I think that would be perfectly legitimate to do either all quinoa or a mix of quinoa and chickpea. You know, you can play around with it. The wraps that you buy at the store, at the grocery stores, are going to be full of all kinds of nasty ingredients that have to be there because that's the only way those can travel in trucks or airplanes long distances for many days. What I am recommending is that you make these. And the cool thing about these is that you can make lots of them. You can double this recipe and they freeze beautifully. They're really, really easy to freeze. There's my guy. Okay, so we had chickpea flour. Then there's going to be a half a cup of tapioca. And you'll sometimes see it labeled as starch. You'll sometimes see it labeled as flour. So this is, I keep it in this container, tapioca. It's white, very powdery. All right. And yes, chickpea flour, thank you, is also called chana. I think that's how you say it, chana or gram flour. And you can find it in an Indian store, or a lot of supermarkets now have it. All right, so we did I told you the half cup of tapioca flour. Somebody can put that in the, or tapioca starch. And then I'm going to use 2 ounces. It calls, this recipe I've made calls for 2 ounces of spinach, but I'm going to use collards. Okay, so 2 ounces of greens, we'll call it. And then it needs 1 and an eighth cup of water, and you use less to start with. And it's 260 milliliters. In the recipe down in the show notes, I will put both the metric measurements and the also the, I don't know what they're called, American. I know they're not called American, but what we use here in America. And then salt. That's it. So, okay. So let's start. What we're going to do is I'm going to grab my, hold on, I know it's here. I'm going to grab my scale. When you're making things like this, if the measurements if they put measurements in where you can actually put it on a scale and measure it, I think it's even better. All right. So the first thing we need, and by the way, in addition to mise en place, you want to read the instructions so you don't miss anything. So we're going to process all of the ingredients. I'm going to put them all in here. And by the way, the original recipe came from ElaVegan.com. And then I have doctored it up since then. I'm probably going to add some cumin because I like that flavor. So I'll probably add a little bit of that. Anyway, you're going to process all the ingredients until the batter is smooth and use 1 cup of water to make them thicker or smaller, like if you want it for a taco, for example. And hi, green lady. I think that's Beth, right? Am I correct? And then you pour it into a skillet, and you can use oil. I don't. And you cook it for a couple minutes on one side, flip it, do it another minute, and you're done. How easy is that? It's like stupid easy, right? It's crazy. So what I'm going to do here, and now I could actually take this and put it on the scale like this and do it. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put this over here, take off the lid. All right. And I'm going to get a bowl, and we're just going to do, there's a lot of banging around. We're just going to do one ingredient at a time. So the first one that I'm going to do is, I'm going to measure out. Now we had said a cup, but in metric measurements, it's 120 grams. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to make sure that my units are in grams. You can choose from different. Oh my God, tell me this needs new batteries. That would not surprise me, honestly. Okay, let's go. All right, we got the grams. All right, so here we have grams, and I'm going to zero it out. Boom. And now I'm going to put in the chickpea flour. That's where I'm going to start. Okay, and I need 120 grams, so I'm going to see. I have a feeling I can use it all. Yep, and that was only 78, and the jar is empty. So I'm going to open up this bag, and I'm not going to pour them in. And the reason I'm not going to pour them in is because I don't want to pour in too much. I want to try to just do a little bit at a time and make sure that I can get to the 120 grams. So I take this, and I'm going to put in that. That brought me to 86. So I feel like that could go in. That brought me to 94. That brought me to 109. That brought me, oh goodness gracious, I can't believe it. Oh, you know what? It says 119, so I'm just going to do a tiny bit more. There we go, 120. So now I'm going to take that 120 grams, and I'm going to pour it, as you can see, in here. Okay, in it goes. And then this goes back down. And now I'm going to do 60 grams of tapioca. That's the tapioca. Okay. So I'm going to zero it out because I want to make sure that it's at 0. And I'm going to start putting this in. That brought me to 16. That brought me to 32. That brought me to 46. I'm getting close. 51. 55. 59. Put in a T. Oh, it's at 60. All right, so I'm going to put this away. And I'm going to take this and pour it in here. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to zero it out again. And now I want 2 ounces, which is 60 grams. So what I'm going to do is take this and take off this. And let's see. We're going to see how. So I have this. Aren't these gorgeous? They're just beautiful leaves. I'm going to strip it so that we don't have the hard stem. And I'm gonna strip it some more. I don't want the stem in there because I think it'll make it too, I just don't think you need it. So I'm gonna give it a wash, but not yet. First, I'm gonna weigh them because remember I said I need 60 grams. Okay, so in it goes. That was 18. So let's say it's almost 20. So I need 3 of those big leaves. Well, I'm just kind of guesstimating. All right. So I'm gonna strip it. That goes in. I'm going to strip it. And that goes in. That's 46. All right, we'll do one more. Everybody with me so far? Okay. All right, I'm not sure I need that whole thing. I need 60. That's 55. 61. Oh, I'm such a perfectionist. All right, 60. And I'll put that over here. So now I'm going to take this is a big handful, and I'm going to wash it. I'm just going to rinse it over here. So I'm still here. All right. I don't need to dry it. It's okay that it's wet. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put it back in the bowl. And then I'm going to show you. I'm just going to sort of tear it so that the Vitamix doesn't have to work as hard. Tear it into small pieces. It's going to get blended up, so it's okay. But what I'm doing is just taking this and just sort of tearing it into smaller chunks. All right, then I'm going to dry my hands. And next, I need 260 milliliters of water. So back on the scale goes the bowl. And then I'm going to change the units from grams to milliliters. There we go. And I'm going to take some water. I'm not sure. It says 260 milliliters, which is about 1 1/8 cups. So I'm going to start with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in. What did I say? 260 milliliters. Okay. And that is 263. So I'm going to pour a tiny bit out. And then I'm just going to pour it. I'm going to go, you know what I'm going to do? See, I've done this a bunch of times. I'm going to take this, and I'm not going to pour all the water in. You'll see, I'm going to pour that much in. I have a little bit left. And then it calls for 1/3 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to guesstimate on that one. Just like that. I think you could probably skip the salt if you wanted to. I'm going to grab, as I said to you, I'm going to grab the cumin. And I'm just going to sprinkle, I'm not sure how much. I just know if you don't like cumin, one of my kids says it smells like dirty socks. So if you don't like cumin, then you're not going to want to do that. All right. On goes the lid. And I'm going to turn the screen so you can see what's going on here. Okay. Get this out of the way. All right. Are we ready? Everybody ready? Okay, it's going to be loud. I wish there was a way to not have the sound be so loud, but that is not possible. So we are just going to have to deal with it. It won't take that long to mix it. So, okay, I'm going to turn it on. All right, Jan says, what are your thoughts? Oh, she remembered the question marks. What are your thoughts on using the Vitamix stainless steel pitcher? Honey, if I had one, I would use it. I would much rather. The only negative I could see is that you can't see what's going on unless you look through the top. But if I had the stainless steel one, I would use that in a heartbeat. Absolutely, without a doubt. going to add the rest of the water because I really want them to be thinner. I'm going to add, so that was the entire amount of water. That should be it. So let's take this and put it. Now I'm going to look at this and it's very strong smelling, probably from the collards. Just okay. I'm okay with that. Oh, it's beautiful thickness. You can see. You'll see it when I pour it out. All right, let's get this out of the way. And then we're going to make the wraps. So I'm going to take out my, lots of banging. Take out this big pan. And I'm going to get a light on. And we're going to turn it on. I'm going to put it on medium to start with. Okay, it actually says low medium heat, so I'm even going to go a little bit lower than that. I'm going to let that get hot, and I'm going to turn you so that you can see what's going on. All right, so I'm going to go here, turn this. All right. Now, while that's going on, I'm going to get my let's see. I'm here. I need to get a this because this is what I'm going to put the finished ones on. All right. Now I have a induction stove, which I love. Here. Okay. And I'm also going to get a spoon because I will use the back of the spoon to kind of cook them. Let's see how hot. That's a little bit hot. I want it to. So while that's going on, does anybody have any questions? Any questions about this recipe? I would encourage you to think about, talk about, and maybe put in the chat, what are some ways you would use a wrap? Like, for example, I might make my chickpea tuna salad, right? It's called no-to salad, I think. And it's basically like tuna salad. It has all the ingredients of tuna salad, except that instead of tuna fish, it uses chickpeas. I make my own mayonnaise. It's really delicious. And you can make it with pickles. There's so many different ways. You know, it depends on how you like your tuna fish. So this is such a versatile recipe. You saw I added more of the water because I want them thinner, but I added collards instead of spinach, which the original recipe uses spinach, and I added cumin. And you can add, I'm open to other suggestions. What else might you add besides that for seasonings? You noticed I only added, I think, a little bit of salt. But you could add more salt. You could add pepper. You could add curry. I think curry would be delicious with it. I think it would be really, really good. But what might you use these wraps for? What's something I just gave you an idea. I said tuna or tuno, chickpea salad. You could put, I make this great, really delicious cream cheese made out of tofu that one of these days I'm going to do. I promise you, I'm going to do a video on how to make it, but it's delicious. And I think that would be good in it. I think you could do scrambled tofu would be really good in it. So, okay, I think it's ready. So I'm going to go here and I want to make you as close as I can so that you can see what's going on. All right, here I go. I'm going to pour a little bit of this in. Oh, you know what's so interesting? I never did it with collards before. It is thick. They're almost too thick. I might have to add some water. I think I will. You know, with pancakes, you always throw the first one out. Ooh, so interesting. Wow. This might not turn out so good, my friends. This might be an experiment. I'm going to add some water. Add some water from here. And I'm going to see. I think I am going to. This is real live TV, my friends. I'm going to plug this in. And I'm going to. Let's see how it goes out. Put it on. Is better. I think it needed to be thinner. Okay, now let's see if I can turn this over. Okay, let's see. Apple a day. A common wrap for me is mashed tatters with a load of greens, shredded cabbage. Ooh, and balsamic vinegar. That sounds delish. Okay, I'll move this out of the way. This, it's not bad. Yeah, you really want to let it cook. I'm going to let it go for another minute or two before I try to get it. You want to use this is a plastic ladle that has a thin edge to it, so it's easy to kind of scoop underneath it. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to let it go for another minute because it just is not really, it should release more than that. So we're going to wait. You can see my beans that I have up here. I keep jars, all these jars. These are soybeans, which I use to make soy milk. I make delicious homemade soy milk. These are black beans, easy to make, so easy to make in the Instant Pot. These are red lentils. Oh, I love red lentils. Red lentil soup is great. I put them in my oatmeal. They are great. Okay, let's see if this is behaving. It's almost there. I think the first pancake is always the one that. Almost there. Almost. There we go. All right, I'm going to take this. I want you to see. And I'm going to turn it over. Okay. There we go. Perfect. It looks great. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? I'm going to put this somewhere else because I want you to really be close to see it. And bring you closer. Okay. Now you can see it better, right? Okay. Red lentils make a great wrap. They're what I typically use. Yeah, red lentils are great. They're so versatile. Okay, so that's great. This is beautiful. And what I'll do is after I put them on this tray to cool, and once they're cool, then I stack them and I just put not saran wrap, wax paper between them. And then I freeze them. I might have one for dinner tonight, but okay. The cool thing is that I can do this and it doesn't burn. It doesn't burn my hands. Let's see what it looks like. It's beautiful. I'm going to give it like 30 more seconds. I like them to be done. Now, this one didn't come out as uniform and pretty. It would have been nice if it had. But that's okay. This is TV. This is not a cooking show. It's Ellen's cooking show. All right. I feel like that's done. So I'm going to take it. Look at how beautiful that is. Beautiful. I'm going to put it on the, and it's just going to sit here on this and cool. How cool is that? All right, let's go with another one. Okay, it's much thinner. I think it is. All right. Spread that. I want to make it as big as possible. I like big wraps. I wish I had a pan that was flat. I'd rather, but I don't. So, wow, I probably put a little bit more. I was a little bit too excited. Okay, there we go. Let me get a towel. Oh my God, this is good. You can see. Anybody have any questions? We have 13 people watching. So what are your questions? Is this something I'm curious to know? I mean, I love cooking and I love making things from scratch and I love making things that are healthy and I love that it doesn't have a lot of ingredients in it that you can't pronounce, long laundry list. So is that something you would do you think? Would you bother? You know, it's as somebody who's gluten-free, there's lots of commercial gluten-free products available, but they're not that good. They're not. They're just not. They're okay. And when you want bread, you know, you kind of make adjustments and you settle. But it's really nice to have some kind of bread product. It's a delivery system, right, for whatever you put in it. But it's nice to have something that's hearty and homemade and fresh and delicious. And, you know, that's my opinion. Okay, so if you make these, one of the things to keep in mind is that I have this on a pretty, like, it's right between medium and low. And it has to, otherwise it's not going to come out good. It's going to burn. And now I can touch it right here. I don't know, I'm going to see, I can touch this and I can see it's still a tiny bit like sort of soft and spongy. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient and wait. And let's see. I feel like this is not going to make more than about 4 of these, which is fine. You can see they're fairly easy to make. Okay, let's see. Yeah, see, I can see that it's still kind of spongy right around the end there where it's a little thicker. See, if I had a bigger pan with a wider diameter or a griddle with a wide diameter, it would be easier to flip them. But this way, it's a little bit tricky. So Jan says, so glad you're not using a specialty pan. Most of us don't have one, right? I mean, most of us probably, you're like me. I'm like you. Most of us have a nonstick pan like this, and some people have a griddle. Kim says, I'm so glad I found you yesterday. You're closer to my age, and I really like your content. Oh, that makes me so happy. It really makes me happy. I love doing this work. I feel like we have like this women's group, you know, and men. Men are welcome too. All right, so let's see if we can. All right, I want you to see what I'm doing. I'm kind of gently nudging it around the edges. Just seeing if it'll release. Hold on, we're almost there. Okay, now I released all the edges, and now I'm just gonna take it, flip it. Oh, this one came out great. Is that a beauty or what? Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. All right, let's see what else. Isn't that pretty? It's so cool. Beth says, a few months ago, I bought a large ceramic pan and I can't wait to try this recipe. Ooh, you must tell us what company is it? Where did you get it? Have you used it for anything? Have you been successful with it? We all want to know. All of us want to know. And, you know, I have an Amazon store, and one of these days when I do a live, I'm going to remember to put it in the chat. I just never remember, but you can actually go on. You could just go to Google and just put in Ellen's Healthy Kitchen Amazon store, and you should find it. That's how I get to it. And that's something that will you might be able to. I don't know if I have this pan on there, but you know what, Beth, I'll look at your pan. And yeah, you said you got it at Walmart. Okay. See if you can grab a link and share it either here or after the live is done. And that would be great for us to see what you've used. Now I can see a tinge of brown on this, just a little tiny bit of brown, so I know it's really almost, and it's bubbling a little bit. Okay, I'm just, I want to make sure it's really, really done. So I'm going to give it another 30-ish seconds, and that's it. So I am not sure. Tonight's pizza night. We have every night of the week, we have a different theme, and Wednesday is pizza night. So I might take one of these wraps and I might put just a ton of vegetables on it, and maybe I might do some grated tofu. I'm not sure yet. I have an appointment at 6, and so at 7, when we're done, I'll figure out what dinner was going to be like. But this could make a really fun pizza crust, if you will, or it might not be crisp, but that's okay with me. All right, I think this is done. And I want to show you how beautiful it came out. So nice. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to put it here to cool. And let's do the next one. I don't know. Anybody want to take guesses as to how many of these I'll be able to make? Any idea? I'm saying 4. That would be my guess. All right, I kind of like how big that one came out, to tell you the truth. All right. Let me spread that before it starts to cook. Ooh. Really want to you have to be sort of a firm hand and really kind of push it, because otherwise it's going to have super thick edges, and you don't want that. You just don't want that. Okay. How beautiful. Oh, so good. Okay. All right, I'm going to put that down. Oh, and I didn't show you what I was doing as I was using the spoon. All right, so we're going to give that a minute. This, I have to show it to you. Look at this. Look at this. This is chickpea flour, tapioca starch, salt, water. What was the other thing? The collards. You can use any greens, really. And I added some cumin and a little bit extra salt. And I think these would be great with curry, right? So you can imagine, and they roll nicely, right? I can roll that up. Now, why, I got an interesting comment today from someone who said, well, you don't work, but what about people who work? I got to hand it to you. If you're trying to adopt a new way to eat, whole food, plant-based, for example, it's hard if you work. You have to find tricks that will save you time. So for example, if you're making these, make double the recipe. And then if this came out with 4 of them, and you're not going to eat one every single day, but if you ate 2 a week and you had 8 of them, you'd have them for a month, which is great. And, what I would do is I would take them, put them, stack them, and put, wax paper between them, and then put them in a Ziploc bag and freeze them. I might, after I stack them in wax paper, I might take saran wrap and kind of wrap the whole thing, just to really keep them from getting freezer burned. That's one of the things I might do. Okay. So you can see that this is beautiful. It's still a little wet, still a little spongy. And like I said, I think I have one left. Was it interesting? You know what I think? This is what I think. I've never used collards before. I've always used either spinach or power greens. I have a feeling that those have more water in them. So what I make in the Vitamix, it produces like a bigger volume because I'm usually able to get about 6 of these. So, but that's okay. All right. So if you're just coming on, you can see I have about 5 minutes left before I have to get ready. But at least I showed you what this looks like. This is still a little bit wet in here, so I'm not. Yeah, I can even, if I press on it, I see it's got some water that's kind of shimmering. So I'm going to let that finish. And then I'll do one more. And before I finish, I want to make sure, does anybody have any questions about this? Is this something that you would try? Would you give it a try? I hope that you will, because this is a great way to have a wrap. You know, the expression to have your cake and eat it too. This is a great, that should be the name of the video. How to have your wrap and eat it too. Except I don't think anybody would understand that. All right, I'm going to taste it. Great. Great. Healthy. Jan says, can't wait to try your recipe. The possibilities are endless. Yeah. Like for what you can put in it, you mean? Yeah. It's crazy how many things you can put in this, right? All right. I keep going back and forth because I want to make sure you see. I'm going to see if I can start. Just sort of, well, see, I still see water. I want to make sure that it's really dry. So I'm going to give it another 30 seconds or so. One of the things that I ask people is that if there's something you want to learn how to make, if I don't know how to make it, I'll figure it out and I'll share it with you. So if there's some recipe or some ingredient that you're curious about, let me know, because I am here to serve. I am here to help you. Yeah, I still see the water. It's kind of sparkling, like shimmering. That must be, you know what that is? That's the thicker part of, I didn't use my spoon enough to really spread it out. Let's see. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I forgot to do that. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, that's interesting. This one came out so much lighter, almost yellow. Look at that. So interesting. All right, so in any case, I am going to wrap up because I have a meeting in a little bit, and I'm just going to show you because it's fun to see the finished results. These are the two that I made, and this one's the better one, of course. It's nice and round, right? And beautiful. It's beautiful. And there's, let's talk about the benefits of eating this, right? This is such great source of fiber. You've got the collards in there. You've got the chickpea flour. Crazy Farm Girl says, I came in late. What is it? What is in it? I will tell you probably yes, though. It's a combination of chickpea flour, tapioca starch, water, collards, salt, and cumin. And I will be putting, it won't happen until later and maybe not even till tomorrow, but I will put the recipe in the show notes, and then you can give it a try and see what happens. See if you can come up with something that, that to me, these are going to, I already know because I've made them before. I just have never made them with collards. I've only made them with, I've never even made them with spinach. I've made them always with power greens because I keep a lot of those in my house, in my fridge. Lissa Raw Food Romance Wraps would love to see those made as well. Yeah, she's great. I love her. I love Lissa. The only thing about Lissa is that she's raw, and these are not raw. So she would, because she's so brilliant, she would figure out a way to make these and put them in the dehydrator. And yeah, I mean, I bet you she would do that. I wonder, because what's in here? We're talking about the chickpea flour is from beans. The tapioca starch, I'm not sure about that. I don't think that's processed. I think it comes from a cassava plant. I don't think it's, I don't think it's cooked. Then we have the collard, the greens, the water, the salt, the cumin. And I think you could probably, it'd be an interesting experiment to try and make them in the dehydrator. All right, this is done. I can tell because it's buckling a little bit. So look at how beautiful this one came out. Woo! Here's a hot one. Okay. So I think that there is one left for sure, but I need to go for my meeting. So um, I want to say thank you to all of you for being here with me. And Crazy Farm Girl says I've made red lentil wraps. Ooh, that sounds really good. Ooh, now you've got me curious about that. Let me turn that off. Turn this off. Turn that light off. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else that you'd want to see. Do me a favor and go up to the icon that's a picture of a thumb. You can see it's for me, it's at the top of my screen. I'm not sure if you're on a phone or a screen or a laptop, but let's see. If you give it I'll do it so we'll see it. Can I do it? No, I can't do it myself. You have to do it. So just click on that little thumbs up and give it, that way it gives it a thumbs up and it tells it tells YouTube to show this to more people, because my goal, as you know, is to help everybody plant their plate one healthy meal at a time. That is my goal. If you're interested, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. And it's really easy to do that. And if you want more of my, like, I have 2 ebooks that are out, and I will put them in the show notes below. I have an ebook of all my favorite oatmeal recipes, and then I have another ebook that is for my pantry guide, and I teach like the basics of how to build a whole food plant-based pantry. So if you want that, they're on sale now until, I think I'm going to take them off tomorrow. So, and they're $9.99 each. So really good. And there's lots and lots of delicious recipes in there. So anyway, enough said. I am so grateful that you're all here, and I appreciate all of you, and come back. Okay. Bye.